This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 182 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. This tip is sponsored by Eco Gold, high-performance products for your horse at ecogold.ca. Enjoy today's tip. This is Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, we're getting excited around here in Lexington as next weekend is the big Rolex 3-day event here in the United States. It's one of the largest horse shows in the country. We expect 40 to 50,000 people to line the cross-country course on Saturday. It's always the most popular day, but it's also the test events for jumping, dressage, and eventing next week for the World Equestrian Games. So there's actually 3 shows going on at the same time. We normally have 1, so we're waiting to see what kind of gridlock that causes here in Lexington. A little practice for the World Equestrian Games later in the year. Well, today we have back with us international dressage rider Lisa Wilcox. She's co-host of the Dressage Radio Show. And as you know, she's an international dressage competitor, trainer, and teacher. She's one of our favorite guests that we hear about here on Horse Tip Daily, and she's also one of the favorite co-hosts over on the Dressage Radio Show. This tip is taken from episode number 45 of the Dressage Radio Show. If you'd like to hear the whole thing, please take a listen in at dressageradio.com. And we'll get to Lisa and her co-host, Chris Stafford, very shortly. But first, we need to speak about our friends at Eco Gold. Eco Gold know all about eventers, jumpers, and dressage riders, as well as pleasure riders, because they do those high-performance saddle pads and horse boots that everybody loves, including the professionals. They're non-slip, 100% breathable, and the ultimate in comfort and protection for your horse. Made with high-tech materials and a state-of-the-art design, Eco Gold's innovative products are the choice of top riders like Philip Dutton, McLean Ward, Ashley Holzer, Karen O'Connor, Boyd Martin, and Jessica Phoenix. I just encourage you to stop over and at least check out their website at ecogold.ca. That's for Canada. They're out of Canada, but they do ship to the United States, no problem at all. So check out their website, check out their line of products. They have a fantastic website with a ton of information on it. So go there, even if you're not quite interested in buying a product right now, go to ecogold.ca.
Well, Lisa, you've always got something really useful up your sleeve when it comes to tips, and this week's no difference. And I think the question you're going to ask or answer is, if your horse is not willing to go forward, what do you do?
Exactly. Horse is not willing to go forward. Now, this is when I begin to troubleshoot things, and having the education I have from Ernst Hoyers, 29 years at the Spanish riding school. My horse isn't going forward. The first thing I question is my seat. Now, what am I doing wrong that is this horse is interpreting and back in basically stuck, doesn't want to go forward? And something that Ernst Hoyers opened my eyes to, he says, Lisa, open your thigh muscle. See, this happened with Rhodiamont. I got on Rhodiamont and clamped down. I thought this was a cute little half pony, half horse thing. I was going to manhandle it. And it stood. Rhodiamont stood. And he says, open your thighs, Lisa. Relax your thighs. They should be long and soft along the barrels of the horse, so the back can relax and the barrel can breathe. If it hardens against us, nothing's moving. And I did that, and I used my voice a little, and a small little bit from my lower calf, and that horse moved off the spot. And I thought, oh my goodness. And I had no idea I was gripping that tight, Chris. That's the thing. Our thighs, that's a large muscle mass.
Yes.
And if you're squeezing with your thigh, and then your calf is down there going bing, 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 it's a much smaller muscle than your thigh. It doesn't really have a chance, and it won't be able to work beyond that what your thigh is closing down. And what is interesting is how a horse will then open up suddenly and in his barrel begin to breathe. The back relaxes, and then they take your lower leg aid and go forward. They stop holding their breath against your leg. So that would be my tip. Double check your seat, double check yourself before you get too irritated with your horse for not responding, because we might just be pulling that handbrake and the gas pedal at the same time. And I don't think the gas pedal is going to make that much of an impression if the handbrake is going to be pulled.
You're going to be spinning your wheels, right?
Correct. On the spot. So that would be something you should try, Chris, while you're riding with stirrups.
Okay.
You're a nice thoroughbred, and just feel how much of an impact your thigh can have negatively in a horse. And thoroughbreds are sensitive. They'll tell you in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And if it's, and we had talked about improper fitting saddles and things like that before in Tips of the Week, they can also cause horses to lock up and not go forward because their shoulders are blocked. So, same type of idea, and now we want to make sure that we are not the cause. And
Do you find, Lisa, there's any difference in that, the mechanics of that adjustment between riding a stallion and, say, a mare who's in season?
I think in both cases, you have very sensitive characters, horses. And a stallion is going to get stubborn. If you want to poke, I'll tell you, I always said, you want to make a Catholic rider out of somebody who's kicking and poking and doing all that, go put them on a stallion real fast. And see how long they last doing that. That'll make you real Catholic real fast. And respectful. But with the stallions, the needling them with the spur and poking them with the spur, that will get a stallion to react definitely in the negative. They'll hold their breath. They'll get angry. They won't go forward. They'll go backwards, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And an irritation. But if you'll open up the thigh, come with a press of a calf, just a press, or a bump, which I've called it before boxing, you will find that the horses that are even holding their breath a little will begin to coax. They'll be coaxed into breathing through that little stimulation of a box. And I have been known to compare it to the babies that are newborns that aren't breathing, and the doctor smacks them on the butt to stimulate them to breathe with just a little flat hand. This is like the flat box on the rib for the horses that are holding themselves against the rider. But it's very important to make sure that the thigh is not restricting them in any way. And the mares, of course, hypersensitive. Those is the same respect. Don't squeeze down on them. Light aids, and I always start small and see where it leads and see what I need after that. Start small, not an elephant in a china closet. A lot of these girls are exceptionally sensitive, and too hard of a whack is going to get you off to the races in no time in some cases, and also, the ringing of the tail, curling of their rib cage around a leg or away or into your leg. A lot of these different things where they go into your leg rather than away from it.
Yes.
So I think that you have to be sensitive to the animals you're riding and just be conscientious and check your seat real fast. Just do a check there and make sure you're not closing them down. Make sure you're not the one pulling the brake.
Well, thank you to Chris and to Lisa for that tip of the week here. And you can find the rest of that show at dressageradio.com, episode number 45. If you would like to drop me an email, you can do so at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. Don't forget to check out all the other great shows and our coverage of Rolex next week. We'll be doing an eventing radio show every day, every evening, a wrap-up show with guests. The top eventers at Rolex will be on the show with us, and that'll be Wednesday through Sunday, I believe. So 5 shows in a row right there, as well as we'll be putting out a special 2010 radio show, The WEG Show, because it is the test events for jumping, dressage, and eventing. So we'll be doing a wrap-up show, special show on that as well at the end of next week. So you can find all of our shows at horseradionetwork.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Thanks to Eco Gold for this episode, and until then, stay safe, everyone.